Hello everyone, it's Bethany from Beth and Books and welcome back to this Book Nook. Today I am sharing with you the process of getting a new bookshelf, reorganising everything and then doing a bookshelf tour. I do want to apologise in advance for the quality of this audio. I am currently saving up for a microphone to use so the audio quality is better. But with that being said, if you want to keep on watching then do just that. Off screen, out of camera, my partner is currently building the bookshelf that's going to go in there. It is just a 2x4 cubicle shelf from Kmart. I don't want to spend too much money because hopefully in a couple of years I'll be able to organise and purchase my own home, of which then I will invest in some quality bits of furniture. Here you can see me starting to take the books off my main shelf before realising I wanted to make sure I organised all my books by genre. This was actually a lot harder than I originally anticipated, and interestingly, even though fantasy is one of my favourite genres, as well as young adult contemporary romances, the biggest pile, which you'll see coming up, actually ended up being thrillers. I think that might be because paperback thrillers I often find cheaply in secondhand stores and on sale, hence why I've managed to collect so many. So I've tried to organise them by genre and age, but sometimes it was just vibe. Like for me, Ready Player One is giving me the same vibe as what some of those other books say, but I'll be honest, I ended up splitting up these piles anyway. There you go, you can see that massive stack of like thrillers. I then found this really cute basket from Kmart. I think it was $6. So I sketched on roughly where I wanted my chalk sign of library to go before off camera doing it all up a bit nicer, and that's the finished product. After that I then had the bookshelf that was all made, thanks babe, and it managed to fit in exactly the same width as the previous bookshelf, and then I started stacking everything. I'll go over this in more detail in the book haul, but essentially what I've done is kept the main shelf, the tall one on the left, as the books I have read shelf, and then the cubicle shelf there homes all of the books from my recent book hauls or ones that I am just borrowing from friends that I have yet to read. And again, with the genres, I'm trying to keep things organised by genre like the literal library does. I have seen the rainbow libraries and I think they're really aesthetic, but I just don't like that for me personally. It would frustrate me, I feel, because I don't think I would be able to know exactly where a book I'm looking for is, and that also means that a series would have to be split up, which honestly just is not for me. Also, whilst I've got you here, if you're wondering where my readathon vlog is for the Ariel Bissett, Raylene and all of that one, what's it called? The Reading Rush readathon vlog. Honestly guys, I read nothing. These past 2 weeks I have been in the biggest reading slump, and it's only just picking up now as I am filming this voiceover. Have I gotten back into the swing of things? I think essentially what happened is a two-pronged barrel, is that even the saying? I don't know. Where I had the first week of term at the same time of the reading rush, so it meant that not only did I have not a lot of time, I was just feeling a lot of, I don't think pressure is the word, maybe stress. I just had a lot of work to do for my teaching job, and so when I got home, the last thing I kind of wanted to do for whatever reason was sit down and read. But that's why there's not a vlog for the reading rush. However, that reading TBR that I spam for is still the collection of books that I'm trying to get through at the moment, which you'll see me put on my shelf in a second. If you did the reading rush, let me know how it goes for you. I suppose I should say how it went, and if it was a good thing for you, if you actually do well under the pressure of reading rushes and readathons. Anyway, here we go over to the bookshelf that I've moved, and this one's kind of become a little bit of an overflow miscellaneous bookshelf. So that's a shelf full of my journals. I've got my wheel up there, then I put up all my little self-helpy books, and down the back bottom there I have a record player. And then here is me popping the library books I have borrowed in the shelf, and then those are the 3 little TBR books that I mentioned. Originally I really wanted them to be all together, but I just couldn't make that work. Maybe in the future. And here's me trying to show you this badge because I'm almost at 5,000 followers in the Bookstagram that I have. Go give me a follow because I will be doing a giveaway. I'm so excited and thankful for every single one of you. And then these are some books I decided I wanted to take to school, put on my shelf in my classroom for my students to read. So I'm just stamping them, and the stamp just says from the library of Bethany Nichols. Okay, so it's 2 hours later and I am adequately happy with how the new bookshelf situation turned out. Funnily enough, it's already pretty full and I'm probably going to need another bookshelf soon, but I'm not letting myself until I read the books that I haven't read yet. So with that being said, I'm going to do a quick little bookshelf tour. Just a heads up, I apologise in advance for any shaky selfie hand. I don't have a proper tripod or anything. And also, I'm not going to tell you every single book that I own. I'm just going to show you all of the spines. And yes, here we go. So just a quick overview. This is my main bookshelf where I home all of the books I own and have read. If we go to the right, this is the new bookshelf. This has all the books I own and have not read, plus at the very top I have a cute little library basket and TBR chalkboard. By the way, both of these items, actually, and the bookshelf came from Kmart. That bookshelf came from Warehouse Stationery. And then my third bookshelf, if I just pan, is over here, and we'll get to that one later. So right up top there we have a couple of Guardians of the Galaxy plushes and some pop vinyls of the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z characters. Then penning down we have this top shelf, which are essentially my big fantasy complete series. Granted, I haven't actually read the Aragon series, but it just fits up there so much better than my other ones. So we've got the Aragon series, the Twilight series and the Harry Potter series from my own childhood, along with the Cursed Child and Fantastic Beasts books and the Tales of Beedle the Bad. So there we go down to the next shelf where I have my low-key dying plant, but it's still green, so my hope is holding. And back here we have a really big George R.R. Martin, The World of Ice and Fire. I wouldn't say that I'm a Game of Thrones nerd or anything. I haven't actually got around to reading this, so I'm just super stoked to have it as part of my collection because of all the illustrations that are in it. It's just super beautiful. Then panning left over here, we have a Winston Churchill book, which is actually my brother's. I've just got it on my shelf for him. And my little teeny weeny classics collection, followed by, if we can focus there, a little stack of poetry books. Panning down a shelf, this is what you start to see in the back of my YouTube videos, so I wanted to make this a focal point of my favourite type of books. So on the right we have all of my adult and young adult fantasy series, going along ending with a stack of Naruto and some random biographies over there on the left. And if we go down another shelf on the left here, you can see my Game of Thrones series, A Madigan's Quest, my childhood Narnia collection, as well as this really nice pocket-size J.R.R. Tolkien Lord of the Rings series. And panning slightly to the right is my young adult contemporaries. When we go down to the next shelf, I try to go sci-fi, dystopian, and then the more mystery, thriller. And these 3 Penguin books, actually, they're all Penguin, are just there as part of my current TBR pile. And then panning down here, this is a stack of books that you saw me stamping that I am going to take to school for the students to read that I personally don't want on my personal collection. Those are some books I don't think are suitable for children and I'm just going to donate. And then up here are my own childhood books, nothing too interesting for you, and then just a collection of my personal photo albums. And then we get to my literal TBR bookshelf. I never thought that I would own this many books, personally, that I had to read. Go check out my latest hauls. I talk about how and why I got them. Essentially, there were some massive sales and I just went absolutely crazy for them, but either way, let's go through them. So like I mentioned, I have these little bits of paraphernalia from Kmart. I have my follow a favourite jar, and this is a little library books basket. Going down, what I've tried to do is organise each cubicle by genre. These are my historical contemporary ones. These are my my fantasy and anthology books. Going down, we have some young adult contemporaries. Gumaho has some fantastical elements to it as well. And over here, we have more like young adult books, but they're more thriller, mystery, intense ones. Going down over here, I have my I'm calling them classics, like my modern classics TBR pile, and my adult romance contemporary cubicle. And then down here, I've managed to accumulate 2 cubicles of adult thriller books that I want to read. And if you're wondering what this is actually the stamp I use to name my books, and then the book notebooks on the end. Oh, let's get rid of that, lol. Are like where I just put my YouTube ideas, just some notebooks that are readily available for me to jot down my ideas. Then we get to this bookshelf, which, as you saw previously, was located over there. If you're wondering, this bookshelf was also from Kmart. So on the top shelf, I've just got a home for my wheel of TBR creation. Panning down, this is my collection of self-help books and a random Virginia Woolf Passionate Apprentice. I'm not actually too sure why that's there, not over in my classics pile, but there we are. If you're wondering about some recommendations, I'll link a video showing my favourite self-help books. Going down, these are my journals. So from this one all the way through to this little one, I've actually completed, and the rest of these are blank ones ready to be filled. And at the bottom shelf, I have the record player and our little record collection. So welcome to what's going to become my new book background for BookTube. I'm really excited. Not because, okay, if I'm being honest with myself, a little bit because, I don't know, I feel like I'm a proper booktuber, and I know that's problematic in its own ways. You don't have to own books to enjoy reading books. But I was having a good old chat with a good old friend of mine, Jono, if you're watching, and I was talking about how I feel guilty in a way buying all these books because I know I'm not going to personally reread many of them, but it's always been a dream of mine to have a collection of books that have transported me to other places and other times, because it is such a huge passion of mine beyond it being my job with English teaching. It's a way of escaping that I've been a part of since I was fresh from the womb, no kidding. So reading is a part of my life, and I'm going to keep buying books, but I'm also going to make sure I'm responsible and not promoting capitalism as a form of acceptance in the book community, because that is not the case. With that being said, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider a cheeky like and subscribe down below, and make sure to follow along for all of the other videos to come. Enjoy all the places you go in your own reading adventures, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.